Alrighty, it has been a little while. So, the reason I'm making this video here, I hope that doesn't pop up on the screen here. If it does, I'm sorry. Anywho, I have about 3 or 4 half-made projects here. I wanted to keep up with, making different guides and things that would be helpful, but I got a little distracted. Group Iron Man came out. I've been playing that pretty heavily, and then the new League is out in Old School. I've been playing that pretty heavily, so I've been slacking a bit on the Clue videos. But something came out recently that I'm not gonna lie, it was enough to make me put a hold on playing my Group Iron and made me take a little bit of break from leagues and focus again 100% into clues. Um, and no joke. I mean, this is said ironically a lot, but there's an update that's going to be coming out for clues that is quite literally a massive game changer. So Mod Ramen posted in the Clue Chasers Discord that on Monday, this Monday, Clue Scroll slider puzzles. Those are your puzzle boxes. Oh, if you're doing elite clues, hard clues, they're the ones that they pop up. They have all the squares that you have to move to make the image. And they are by far the biggest time consumer if you're not using puzzle skipping tickets, which I assume for most people that are doing clues to try to make money, they're probably not interested in spending, what is it? Yeah, about 3 mil each. On average, I want to say it's 2 point something. It's not a full 3 puzzle skipping tickets, but obviously you can't use a fraction of a puzzle skipping ticket. So for the sake of making numbers easy, let's just say that you have about 3 slider puzzles per elite clue. Well, with this new update that's coming on Monday, they're going to be changing the amount of steps that are required to solve a puzzle, and they're going to be having it in line with what Old School has. Now, I have an Old School Iron Man that is, I wouldn't say close to max, but I mean in terms of total level, I'm right around like base 90s. So while it would still take a while, I'm pretty close. And the reason I say this is while I haven't done nearly as many clue scrolls in Old School as I've done here on RS3, I've done a fair amount of them, and I've done enough to know rough averages. So in RS3, the way that it is currently, for elite clues specifically, puzzle boxes are somewhere in the ballpark of 120 to, I'd say, about 170, 180 or so steps required to solve it. Whereas Old School is looking at anywhere between, I'd say, 25 to maybe 45, 50 steps. So you're looking at roughly about 25% of all the required squares that need to be moved to solve the puzzle. So essentially, I mean, what we're looking at here is puzzle boxes are going to be roughly 3 to 4 times faster to solve. Now, if we estimate that with how it is currently, that a puzzle box takes you about a minute to solve, and with the numbers we were using earlier, where you have about 3 puzzle boxes that you need to solve per elite clue, I mean, you can see how this is going to be a pretty significant time save. So if we're looking at currently about 3 minutes worth of your total elite clue is being spent solving puzzle boxes, and now we're looking at it being a quarter of that, that's what, 45 seconds? If my math is correct, yeah, about 45 seconds. So we're looking at 45 seconds as opposed to 3 minutes. Now, even if we round up and say that we're going to be spending a minute on puzzle boxes come Monday instead of 3 minutes, I mean, that's a 2-minute time save. Okay, so now if you're somebody that can do an elite clue in, let's just say 6 minutes, you can do 10 of them per hour. But instead of 3 minutes, now we're down to 1 minute. Okay, so that is a 2-minute time save per clue. And if you can do 10 per hour, that means over the course of an hour, you're saving 20 minutes. And if we use that 6-minute example, that means you're getting about 3.5 more elite clues per hour. That is a 35% increase to your total amount of clues that you're solving per hour. Now, if we pull up this document here, this is really, really helpful, and feel free if you want to pause it and screenshot it and save this information here. This information comes directly from the Clue Chasers Discord. And essentially, for anybody that doesn't know, it's just a group of people that have done an absurd amount of clues. And they were able to break down this information, and this shows you the average drop rate or average amount of clues that you need to solve to get specific broadcasts or just any broadcasts in general. So what I'm going to be focusing on here is elite clues specifically, because that's kind of my bread and butter. This is what I know best. So if we follow the column down, we're looking at elite clues. The chance of any broadcast from elite clues is 1 in 364. So we're going to just do some quick math here. So you got to do 364 elite clues, and if you're doing an average of 10 per hour, that means roughly, on average, every 36.4 hours, you're going to be looking at getting a broadcast. Now, I mean, obviously, this is average. There's nothing saying that if you do elite clues for 36 hours straight that you're guaranteed a broadcast, but this is just going to be a rough average here. So now if we pull up another calculator, and we keep in mind that we're going to be doing clues just for shits and giggles, let's say about 33% faster. Okay, so if we take 36.4 and we multiply that by 0.33, that is a time save, and we'll round down just to make numbers easier. That means that we're going to be saving a total of 12 hours, well, not necessarily saying 12 hours, but we're going to be doing these clues essentially 12 hours faster. The time that it's going to take you to get to that 364 elite clues is now going to be about 12 hours faster. So if we subtract 12 from our initial 36 hours, we're looking at now about 24.5 hours. So, I mean, numbers, some people, I mean, I'm a numbers nerd, so this is something that I like to see, but for most people, if you're doing clues, what you're really looking for here is, what does that mean in terms of cool items I'm going to get or expensive items that I'm going to get? And with that thought in mind here, I mean, this is massive. I mean, just for people that are only doing clues for the monetary gain, which, trust me, I 100% understand. I mean, I'm not trying to gloat when I say this, but I mean, I've made enough money to buy a yellow party hat, and I've got a blue party hat keepsake. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I am 100% absolutely all about the money that I can make from clues as well. So I mean, that is just a substantial increase here. Um, and it's something that I'd like to kind of illustrate, I guess, with some more numbers. So your numbers are going to vary here. Obviously, I've done a lot of clues. I'm pretty fast at doing them. I estimate that across all of my broadcasts and all of the time that I've spent doing clues, I estimate that I make somewhere in the ballpark of about 110 mil per hour on average in GP across all of my broadcasts. Now, for some that might seem like it's ridiculously high, which, it is. When we're talking in terms of, money making in this game, 110 mil, I mean, that's on that's the upper echelon, if you will, of money making. However, I have gotten absurdly lucky, and I'm not, I'm not trying to discredit that. I mean, I've gotten, I mean, I have an Orlando Smith's hat. I've got 5 third age dies, 2 blood dies. I have gotten very lucky in terms of clue scrolls here. But the point is that this is what I estimate as my hourly income solving mainly elite clues, but I do my master clues as I receive them. So if we're looking at about a 33% increase, if I take that 100 mil per hour and I multiply it by 1.33, the 0.33 being my new increase in gains here, we're looking at just over 146 mil. And I haven't looked in quite some time, but if I'm not mistaken, that would propel its profit per hour, if I'm not mistaken, into the #1 spot. I mean, I don't think that there's any other moneymaker in this game where you're making just shy of 150 mil per hour. Now, granted, keep in mind, this is on the upper level of things. I have what I would consider to be best in slot for solving clues. I have what I would consider to be the most efficient teleports, the most efficient routes. I've spent a lot of time gaining that experience and everything, so don't look at this number as someone that's just getting into clue scrolls and think, oh my god, I'm going to make 150 mil per hour. I'm just illustrating that with enough time and practice and experience, getting up to the point that I'm at, this is what I'm currently making. For most people, I'm sure you're going to look at that and you're going to understand. Obviously, you're going to have your dry streaks. This is not guaranteed. This isn't set in stone. You're not going to do 4 hours of elite clues and be guaranteed to get, this 585 mil. But I'd like to imagine that anybody watching this understands that you're going to have your dry streaks, but you're also going to have your times when you are just absurdly lucky. Anybody that's in, my clan here, I'm sure they remember a while back, I got like 3 third age dies over the course of a week, and I sold those for, I want to say I got about 40 bill in total for those 3 dies. So, I mean, with that being said, if I got 40 bill over the course of a week, and if we're saying, let me open up, well, I'll just use this one. If I'm getting 40 bill, and let me focus here to make sure I don't mess this up. Okay. 40 bill over the course of a week, if we say 10 hours a day, that's 70 hours total. We're looking at about 571 mil per hour. Now, obviously that's not the norm here, but the point I'm trying to make is that you're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days, you're going to have good luck, you're going to have bad luck. But what I want to illustrate here mostly is that just from a monetary standpoint, this one update is going to be massive. You're going to be solving clues faster. You're going to be, in my opinion, dealing with a lot less bullshit, for lack of better words, because I know that myself personally, I really dislike the puzzle boxes. Or the slider. I'm so used to calling them puzzle boxes, but I think their proper name is slider puzzles. But they're by far and away my least favorite part about solving clues, because there's just so much clicking that goes into it. And I mean, this is going to sound nerdy, and there's no way of saying this that doesn't sound nerdy, and I'd like to imagine that anybody watching this can relate, but believe it or not, I might have invested some pretty significant time into this game, and there are times where I'll put in a pretty hour intensive day of playing, and the reason I bring that up is if you're spending an entire day doing clue scrolls, it doesn't feel great. It's not when you're clicking 150 different squares, to avoid sounding super sad here. Eventually, your wrist starts to hurt, man, and that's obviously a pretty noticeable con when it comes to solving clue scrolls. But I mean, that's soon to no longer be an issue either. It's a lot easier to tell myself, oh, okay, I just got to click 25 times and my puzzle is solved, as opposed to 150 times. So not only is it going to be a massive increase to your clues solved per hour, your money that you get per hour, but it's also just going to be more enjoyable for you as someone that's solving clues. So I kind of just wanted to make a quick little video, more or less touching on that, because I unironically think that aside from the update that allowed you to stack sealed clues, that this is probably the biggest update to Clue Scrolls since that. I don't want to undersell that point at all, because on the surface it might not seem like a very big deal, but I can assure you, and with the numbers that I've shown you here, I hope that that seems apparent to you as well. But I mean, this is massive. You can view slider puzzles essentially as their own clue scroll, essentially, because the amount of time with how things are currently that you would have to spend solving clues if you use puzzle skipping tickets, or if they just outright got rid of the slider puzzles, that overall time that you spent solving them, you could have spent, or you could have solved a different elite clue in its entirety if it didn't have the puzzle boxes in them whatsoever. So, I mean, when we look at it that way, I mean, it really all kind of becomes clear how big of a change this is actually going to be. So now we're looking at, let's see, okay, so it's currently the 7th, Saturday. We're looking at this Monday, Monday the 9th, and obviously depending on where you're from and your time zone and whatnot, whenever your normal game update would be is when this update's going to go live. But I mean, we're only looking at a couple days away here before this update's going to be in the live game. And I have been spending some time. Oh, let's see, where do I have my elites? My bank is an absolute mess here. Yeah, so I've got 800 odd elite clues here, and I've been saving these up because this update has been in the works for a while, and the clue chasers have been asking for this update and kind of keep being told, yeah, it's on the back burner. We're gonna get to it. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. Well, now it's finally happened. And this is something that I am just immensely excited for. Now, obviously, if you're someone that uses puzzle skipping tickets, I mean, if you're just breaded like that, you can kind of just ignore this entire video, because obviously there will never be anything faster than instantly solving. So this doesn't really apply to you, but for those of you that maybe don't want to spend damn near 10 mil per elite clue on puzzle skipping tickets, this is just massive. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, I'm kind of curious. I would not be surprised if these puzzle skipping tickets have absolutely tanked in price. Yeah, so I put it in for the mid price, and I got 600K back. So I mean, we can see that the price on these is already starting to plummet, which makes sense. I mean, now... Oh shit, you know what? Alright, well, this will be your little bonus if you've watched the video this far, but I mean, we're looking at almost 90K profit per elite clue, so I'm gonna just... Hold on, let me just do this live real quick here. So we're looking at 2251 111. Let's see. And we're looking at a profit of, what is that? About 90K. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make some quick money off of that. Anywho, so I guess to kind of make a long story short here, I mean, this is just massive for anybody that's looking to get into clues, or anybody that's been doing clues, and maybe you haven't been keeping up with all the gossip and news surrounding clue scrolls, which I can't really say I blame you, but I mean, I have absolutely no life, and I've done a shit ton of clues, so this is something that I really keep a close eye on, and figured that there might be somebody out there that wasn't privy to this information, and if you are one of those individuals, then definitely look forward to Monday. I would even go so far as to say that, if feasible, I would just work on trying to gather clues up until Monday, because I mean the time that you're gonna save once that update comes live, I think is definitely worth holding out for, and that's what I'm gonna be doing too. I have a decent amount of clues here saved up, but I've got a few days off from work. My plan is I'm gonna just AFK gather some clues, and by the time the update on Monday comes, I'm gonna really get back into it here because I mean this is I mean from my side of things, with how quickly I solve clues, I mean I'm solving clues in about I'd say anywhere between 3 and 4 minutes. I can get an average of about 15, 16 elite clues per hour. Um, Without using puzzle skipping tickets, and I'm really hoping that with this update, um, my goal, well, I shouldn't say my goal, but one of my mini goals has always been to try to get to a point where I can get up to 20 elite clues per hour without using puzzle skip tickets. With the tickets, I mean, I can do that easily, but without the tickets has always kind of been my goal. So I'm shooting for 3 minute elite clues, and I genuinely believe that once this update comes into the game, that is something that is going to be within reach. And it's something that even if you're somebody that maybe hasn't done a bunch of clue scrolls and hasn't really gotten up to that speed, I mean, it's something you can shoot for. You know what I mean? It's something that, oh my God, I'm getting distracted here. I think I'm gonna go get that merchant. But, but, it's something that's within reach. That's how I like to look at it, is if I know that it's possible, I've seen that it's possible, then that just means that it's something that even I could do with enough time and effort. So that's essentially all I was trying to say with this here. I kind of drug it out a lot longer than I was meaning to, but I really wanted to illustrate the point there that if you're wanting to do clues, that this is massive, and this will benefit absolutely everybody. I mean, the only people that this does not directly benefit, I guess, are people that were selling off their puzzle skipping tickets. I mean, that is something that is a very valid point here. One major source of income for hard clues specifically is your puzzle skip tickets. That's what makes them so competitive, is, their highest value broadcast is a shadow die. They don't have any broadcast that you're gonna be able to sell for 10 billion coins. But what kind of cushions the blow a little bit is all the puzzle skipping tickets that you get. Now, yeah, with that being said, this update is going to kind of take a bit of a hit towards that profit. But again, you're going to be solving clues faster. You're going to be getting, on average, more broadcasts per hour. And the way that I like to look at it is, if I have the choice between maybe getting, I don't know, 50 or so puzzle skip tickets at a rate of, what is that, divided by 4, like 112-ish mil for 50 of them, but maybe I happen to get a shadow die that's, I think, 1.3 odd bill or so. I mean, it kind of seems like a no-brainer. You might take a slight hit in your hourly profits, but it's going to be just very much eclipsed by the increase in profits that you're going to get from more frequent broadcasts. So I hope I've kind of illustrated that in a way that makes sense. I kind of feel like I'm rambling on a little bit here. Um, but yeah, long story short, clues are about to get a whole hell of a lot faster. You're going to make a whole hell of a lot more money. They're going to be more enjoyable to do. You're not going to have as much wrist pain if you decide to be a degenerate like me and spend an entire day doing clue scrolls. I mean, all around, it's just gonna be more fun. It's just there's no downside to this that I can really imagine, and it's something that I'm very much excited for. And I hope if you're watching this that you're someone that enjoys clues, and it's something that's exciting for you as well, because this is going to be tremendously helpful for, I mean, just everybody. Now, real quick here, I know I've already drugged this out quite a bit here, but like I mentioned earlier, I do have I think like 3 or 4 videos that are half made, guides in terms of clue solving, things that I mentioned in the last video. And that's I kind of have no one to blame but myself. I got distracted with other things there, but the reason I bring that up is at some point here in the not so distant future, there's going to be more old guide type videos coming out, but this was just something that I felt needed to come up or needed to be said here because, we're only 2 days away from this update coming into the game. So I'm gonna mess around with it. I'm gonna look at some more numbers and everything to try to see if there's anything I missed here. But I think I pretty much got everything. And yeah, when that update comes into the game, my intention is to kind of record some tips and whatnot that come up as I'm solving them, and I should be able to get another guide type video out here in the not so distant future. So anyway, I hope this was enjoyable. I hope this was helpful in some way. As always, if there's any questions or if anyone's looking for any tips of any kind, or if there's anything specifically that they would like some help with, let me know, and I can either respond directly or I can make a video about it. And we'll try to get everybody up to the point where you're just making a shit ton of money doing clue scrolls, because I mean I can tell you firsthand there's very few things that are more satisfying than opening up a box and knowing that you've got 13 billion coins sitting there. I mean, it is exhilarating to me anyway. It's the most fun content in the game as far as I'm concerned, and I'm hoping and like to imagine that other people feel the same way. And the thing that was my biggest roadblock was not really knowing how to solve them quickly. So my hope here is that with these videos and with some guides that I'm going to be putting out, that we can get everybody to the point where they're solving clues pretty quickly. And it's not something that I feel is going to really harm anybody's profit on this, because these expensive dies, they're so rare. Even if there's 50 people that watch this and end up getting hardcore into clue scrolls and they're solving them fast as hell, it's not like blood dies tomorrow are going to drop down to 100 mil. It's not going to happen. So, I'm all for trying to get everybody to kind of to the point where I'm at, where we're solving clues quickly and we're making a boatload of money. So that's my goal, my intention here. So I'll keep doing what I can with that. And yeah, if anybody has any questions or suggestions or anything of the sort, just let me know and we'll see what we can do about it. So yeah, hopefully everybody has some good luck with this upcoming clue update, and we'll go from there. Thank you.